donuts and coffee. Please take the next couple minutes here to find your seat.
Get your donuts and coffee and come sit down.
All right, good morning everyone. We're going to get started. It looks like most folks are in here with their coffee and their donuts. My name is Sarah Hetke. I'm a Social Media Breakfast Madison board member and very excited to welcome you all to Dream Bank. We'll hear from Andy in just a bit. He'll talk more about the space that we're in today, but so excited to be back here in person. So to get a better understanding of who we've got in the audience today, let's see a raise of hands. Anyone who has been to a social media breakfast event before, whether in person or online. Awesome, lots of returning folks. And who is a first timer with us today? Woo! Awesome. We got a good mix of people in the audience. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us in person, and thank you to those who are watching the live stream online. I know we have an audience that expands outside of the Madison area, so we're excited to share this information and resources with everyone. A little bit about us for our first timers. We are a nonprofit and we focus on bringing social media and digital marketing information to our Madison community, and now with all the technology we can utilize, we've even expanded beyond that. We meet the third Wednesday of each month, and we have our live events here at Dream Bank, and you keep tabs on our Facebook page because we do have some online events throughout the month that we host, and really looking forward to the weather warming up and finding new opportunities for us to meet outside of our monthly events. So as a nonprofit, we wouldn't run without our board of directors. These are all of the folks that help make things happen, and we're looking for others to join our board, help make these events possible, and all of the planning, social media management, finding speakers, all of that fun stuff. So if you're interested in joining the board, please visit our website and you can apply there. You can also apply to be a volunteer. You can connect with us on all of our social channels and on our website. We also have a Facebook group, Social Media Madison Mastermind, so please join us there. And for anyone who's looking for additional professional development opportunities, we have scholarships available, which is a really great value-added opportunity for our audience. Again, you can visit our website, learn more about the scholarship that we have available, and you'll find an application online. Save the date for next month's event. We're going to be talking about the power of one and doing a lot as a small marketing team. And I'm seeing a lot of smiles in the audience because I think we have a lot of folks in here who can resonate with being a single person or maybe a small team of marketing folks. So make sure to mark your calendars to join us in May. And now, for those who are looking to get more involved, I mentioned the board opportunity. You can volunteer with us, but we're always looking for different topics to talk about, or local speakers, a couple different volunteers. Write event recaps on our blog. There's a lot of opportunities that can be one day at the event, or they can span throughout the month. So feel free to reach out to any one of the board members to learn more, express your interest in helping us out. I mentioned our Facebook group. Be sure to check that out. That is where our conversations continue about these topics. People can ask questions and network and get to know other like-minded social media folks in the Madison area. And a big, big shout out to our sponsors. These events truly would not be possible without all of these folks. So if you see anyone from these companies, please give them a thank you. And I'm going to have Andy from Dream Bank share a little bit about the space we're in today.
Gang, welcome back. I'm so excited today. Long time coming, right? I know a lot of you have been to social media breakfasts before, probably have seen either my face through the nice little radio window, but as Sarah had said, if you haven't met, we'd love to have a conversation with you today. A little bit about Dream Bank. So here at American Family Insurance, we believe that communities are stronger and the future is brighter when people are actively pursuing their dream, and that's why this place was created just over 10 years ago. It's an inspirational community destination and digital experience that is dedicated to dreamers everywhere. So our offerings are designed to help you celebrate the dream journey, overcome obstacles, and to stay motivated. And we do that through a couple different pillars. I would say the largest one being our events that we host in our space here. Many of you are probably familiar with our events, but they're organized into 9 distinct buckets. So anything ranging from small business and entrepreneur workshops, career-related activities. We have events in Spanish, family-related events. So really trying to appeal to as many different dreamers as possible. In addition to the events that we host, we also have a drop-in co-working space, which I highly encourage you to check out. But before you check that out, make sure to pop over and get a headshot as well. It's right beyond the headshot area, but again, it's meant to be kind of a drop-in space. You live on the east side, maybe you've got a client on the west side, central location to meet. Our operating hours right now are Tuesday through Thursday, 9 to 5. So during those times, you're always able to come in and have a quiet-ish place to work. Maybe some Lady Gaga or adult music playing in the background, but aside from that, it's there for you. All the way at the back of the space, we have a very robust and interactive exhibit, all rooted in positive psychology. It's meant to embody some of the beliefs and values of the company. Right now, the theme is building your dream, probably our most practical and tangible exhibit space yet to date. Lots of design thinking concepts and principles in it, so again, I highly encourage you to check that out if you have time after the event today. Lastly, if you're interested in hosting an event here, whether it be a speaker here at Dream Bank or hosting your own private event, that's something that we'd be happy to facilitate for you. We have this main space here, which can seat about 100 people. We have this partition that we can close so we can run 2 events simultaneously, and then we actually have an annex space towards the front of the building that can seat about 15 people comfortably. So if you have any questions regarding that, please go ahead and follow up with myself, my lovely coworker Megan Munn, who's at the space, and then Eric Lopez as well. We'll be happy to accommodate you. But so happy you're here today. Thank you all.
Wonderful. Thank you, Andy. Thank you for hosting us in this space. It's perfect for our group to meet in. Next, we want to welcome our new photography sponsor, Alex. You've probably seen him snapping photos. He's going to come up, and let's all get excited because he's going to take a photo of us being back in person. So hands in the air, everyone's looking all today. Come on, everybody do it. Yes, this is amazing. Wonderful. Well, if you see Alex around, give a good smile and a wave and say thank you. He is a brand new photography sponsor. As we get back in person, we appreciate him being here. And as we wrap up our housekeeping notes, every month we have a nonprofit spotlight. And this month we are highlighting the Gildas Club. The Gildas Club was a recipient of our Dream Grant. And Lindsay is here. Lindsay, she's in the back of the room. If you give a little wave, stop by and say hi to her after the event if you haven't already. But the Gildas Club mission is to ensure that all people impacted by cancer are empowered by knowledge, strengthened by action, and sustained by community. So a lot of really great information you can gain from her, and just check out what they're up to, and big congratulations to them for being one of our Dream Grant recipients. And with that, we are going to be on to the main portion of our event today. Tiffany is going to talk about bringing static images to viral videos. So I'm going to welcome Tiffany and fellow board member Liz up to the front of the room to take it away. Woo!
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Let us get
So
settled
excited to
here.
be here.
We're very excited to be here. Thank you, Tiffany, for being here. I'll just read a little bit of her bio. So Tiffany is a Madison-area influencer, photographer, and content creator. So you enjoy creating uplifting and funny videos based on her current life experiences, and in her spare time, she enjoys finding new places to eat, specifically local coffee shops. So I know she's in good company here. So I'll let you just kind of do a little bit of introduction to yourself. We want to hear a bit more about you. How did you get started with social media, specifically creating content, and how did your audience grow?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Maryland, and we moved here almost 2 years ago, so it's been a cold welcome, but we've been getting used to it, and everyone has been super friendly, super great. And the opportunities that I've already received here have been amazing. I mean, look at this, we're here, this is awesome. So I started back in these are my kids, by the way. So I'm a mom of two, I can't forget them. They're at home with my husband right now, so they're mostly what I talk about, and I'll go into that in a little bit later. So I started in social media around 2013, 2014. I was a social media manager for a startup called Co-Founders Lab, and that's when I got the entrepreneurial bug, and I decided to start my own startup. As you can see, it's called Barbell Babes. I was a competitive weightlifter before I had kids, and a little bit after. I still try to find time to do that now, but this was my complete life back then. I grew my brand all organically. Like, this is before a lot of things came to play, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was up to 38,000 followers on Instagram and like 11,000 followers on Facebook, all organically. So it was
that's
a huge
amazing.
achievement for me. I actually sold the company this year, finally.
Wow.
I ended it in like 2018, 2019. So that was like kind of a bittersweet moment for me. So as you can see, this was before before the invention of reels and videos, short form video. So this is what the page currently looks like after handing it off, and this is on this side. This is what it looked like during my time. So it was to empower women to lift heavy. So we had e-commerce, a lot of like motivational quotes. We featured women from all around the world to share their story of how they were empowered to lift weights around that, to try to break that stereotype. So I gained a lot of experience in this. At the time, we called them ambassadors. I guess you could call them influencers now. So trying to find the right people for this brand to represent us, sending them free merch to rep. So back then, and still now, my husband, or boyfriend at the time, was a photographer, and that's also where I learned a lot of my stuff. So he took a lot of our content.
He was the original
he was the OG
Instagram husband.
As much as he doesn't want to admit it. So yeah, I mean, all of my content was mostly static images, and trying to kind of frame my feed around that.
Yeah, and that kind of continued even when your brand shifted into motherhood.
Yeah. So in 2018, I had my first daughter, and now this is my personal page. So as you can see on this side, all my content, I had videos on there, but as you can see, it was very low quality I guess it was high quality at the time, but it's low quality now. So everything shifted for me, and all my content turned into more motherhood related. And that's when I started also picking up photography. So a lot of the content was stuff that I was learning to do on my own.
Right.
And as you can see here, the quality does shift. And with that, kind of the following changed as well. A lot of my pre-motherhood followers, not surprisingly, were a lot of men who liked to watch me lift. And then people, like at the time, a lot of people didn't have kids yet who were following me. So that shift early on was hard, but also I've come to realize that it's the people who are going to stick around are the people who are going to stick around for your journey, and that's going to change regardless. Like, who knows what's going to be next for me? But that's something I've realized, like, you just got to keep going. You're going to pick up new people along the way.
Yeah, the people that are for you will find you.
Exactly.
So, you know, obviously I think Instagram was kind of your first love when it comes to social media. So when did you first notice kind of video taking over, and then talk a little bit about how you started to transition your own platform from beautiful still photography to predominantly videos?
Yeah, so my content originally before videos was all static images. So here are some that, you know, my husband has helped me taken, or I've taken. A lot of my content was very like styled posed content. And I mean, I think that we created some beautiful images that I kind of miss today, and I kind of feel like I'm so far into doing videos. I'm like, do I remember how to do this kind of stuff anymore? I was just thinking about that the other day. When videos came to play, I was really hesitant because I am deep rooted into photography. Right. So like the thought of videos really frightened me, and I think with most people it's really intimidating.
Yeah, I think people can relate.
Yeah, like putting yourself out there. I don't necessarily, as contrary to popular belief, I don't love being like the center of attention. So that was kind of difficult for me. But I think you just need to put yourself out there. So this is what my feed looks like today. As you can see, it's really fun. My motto is don't take life too seriously, and I think that my profiles reflect that, and my content reflects that, so just try to uplift people. So when I first got started, we're going to play this video, and then I'll talk more about it when like videos came into play.
That sounds good.
If I click this.
So baby, come with me.
That was one of my very first reels on Instagram, and I didn't know where to start, but in that time we had just moved to the Madison area, so that was a great opportunity for me. Another great piece of advice is kind of just going with where you're at, either in your business or your life, of just kind of documenting that and sharing that. I think that those are good ideas of like the types of content that you can post, and we'll talk more about that later as well. And
that's something I feel like you kind of had to learn, because you were used to being able to have time to like prep and stage and have concept ideas for your photography, but then video moves so much faster. So you kind of have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit and maybe show different parts of yourself than you would have before.
Yeah, so as you can see in this video, what I did and what you can do is I took basically all the videos from like that I posted in my story. So I made sure every time I took like a little clip, I would save it in my phone, and I just turned it into one longer video. And also, that was a pretty long video, don't you think? But this was the standard even a few, this was a year ago?
Yeah, a year or two.
So that's crazy how fast things move. So that was, it doesn't say, but that was probably around 30 to 40 seconds of your time. And nowadays, we'll talk more in a little bit, but things move a lot faster these days.
Yeah.
That's how crazy like people's attention spans are, that we would actually sit and watch things like this. So yeah, getting out of your comfort zone. If you're too nervous to do that yourself, maybe there's somebody on your team. On my team, I have 2 little girls who are sometimes forced to participate unwillingly and sometimes willingly. It's actually pretty funny because my 4.5-year-old, she had a bunch of clothes the other day, and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, can you do a video of me doing like this? And I'm like, oh my God, she's like watching what I'm doing as an influencer and taking notes, and I guess that's what she's looking at. So it's kind of scary.
Scary, funny, all of the above.
Yeah.
So, you're talking about kind of getting out of your comfort zone. I feel like sometimes when you're getting started with something like video, you can maybe lean toward trends that are already existing. So what's kind of your philosophy on following trends? What trends are you seeing right now? Because you do both Reels and TikTok, and it feels like there's a bit of a different approach.
Mm-hmm. So I'm seasoned in Instagram, but I'm actually fairly new to TikTok. I was completely resistant. I only joined I think this year, and surprisingly doing okay over there. But it's a totally different animal over there. If you guys are on both. So with Instagram, I feel like things can still be more polished and artistic, where like a lot of like the creators and the makers come out, and TikTok is very like wild. It's wild west over there.
Throw things at the wall and see what sticks.
Things are very in the moment. I feel like you can get more personal over on Instagram, and then TikTok is kind of just like very fast paced. So like we were saying before about the time of things, I also noticed, so with Instagram, I found like the sweet spot is around 10 to 20 seconds. There's a cool feature, I was only able to see it on one of my videos, but you could see the length that people watched.
Oh yeah.
And I believe the average was like 7 seconds. So if you're doing like a 30-second video, you've already lost your audience in the very beginning. So it's something to keep in mind. Whereas I've noticed over on TikTok, and I've found myself watching videos longer, and it does depend on your content, but you can do a little bit more over on TikTok.
Yeah. What about things like trending audio and like different types of content that have like gone viral?
So that was another thing that I've had to figure out as well. On Instagram, I really only post reels with trending audio now, and that's the little in the corner. If you look at other people's reels, the little arrow, there's like a straight arrow and a squiggly arrow. I don't know what the difference is, but that's trending audio. So if you use that, I like to choose audio that has a lower amount of usage. That way your content can get pushed up in the algorithm a little bit better. Whereas with TikTok, I don't find, unless you're doing something super specific like some kind of challenge on TikTok, the audio isn't as important as your content that you're giving out.
And it's funny because I feel like it used to be the opposite, where like trending audio was everything on TikTok for a while. Exactly. It's nice because I feel like on Instagram, they have templates and stuff that you can like borrow. So as you're watching, other people's reels, you can say, oh, use this template. So I feel like they're trying to help people out, maybe
totally.
us millennials.
Yeah. No, I totally do that. So I always go like on the explore page, and when I'm looking for audio or looking for inspiration, I flip through other people's stuff and get inspired that way, or find new audio that way that I didn't think that I would like. Yeah,
definitely. And it is nice, for both Instagram and TikTok, that it doesn't all have to be video. You know, there's the pressure to just like record everything, but it can be a mix, and those things do well too.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about like the New Year's reels that they did, where they're like, here's 1,000 photos from your whole year, and like that was kind of the trending thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and like every week there's something new on social media. Now that like static images are coming back, and I'm like I said, I'm like, oh no, I'm so far into videos. Do I know how to make styled content again? So.
I'm sure that you do. Okay, so some people do feel like it's a little scary to get into video, and maybe they don't know where to start. So what are some tools that you recommend people kind of start out with, and why? And I see that you brought a couple of things to show us.
So I brought my stuff. Let's. So I'm gonna talk. So people always ask me. I'm also a photographer, so I have a lot of people who ask me, do I need expensive gear? And my philosophy has always been, it's about you and what you have on hand. It's not necessarily the gear that you have. And we'll talk more about that. But this is my setup, so I'm gonna move up here and show you guys. And we're gonna do a little test in a little bit to see if you guys can tell the difference between two of my videos that I've used with my professional camera and then just my iPhone. Like I said, go with what you know the best, and if that's your phone, the technology these days are just getting better.
Right.
And now I have an iPhone, but new iPhones have the cinematic feature, which I've been playing around with, and it does amazing things. So when I want to do more like brand deal type content, I actually use a mix of both now, but I primarily use a big camera just to get a little bit more crisper content, but it really just depends what I'm doing. So, I mean, we'll see what we can get with our iPhone in a little bit.
Well, and you have just like a pretty, it seems like simple tripod that I'm sure is very helpful.
Amazon is your best friend, and they, like if you do more things with like, you know, your face and you need a ring light,
Right.
There's options there as well. Like, don't sleep on Amazon. You can go a long way with. Actually, we just filmed a reel yesterday for a brand, and I had an idea. We put, we used both cameras, but we put my big camera on a skateboard. I was like, let's try this idea, and then I was riding a bike, and we kind of moved it along the skateboard. Didn't come out that like I wanted to, just because our street was a little bit bumpy. But I mean, this could be a nice little tripod for you guys. Like, just come up with creative ways. Yeah. What you have on hand is the best tip I can give.
I think that's great. And I think one thing that we were going to talk about, and I skipped over, is, you know, with Instagram, things can sometimes have a delay. We've all seen the Instagram algorithm. You're seeing sometimes content from 1 or 2 or 3 days ago, if it's like an account that you follow. So I think you were going to talk a little bit about how, you know, sometimes with videos that you've created, you have to wait a little to see kind of the outcome.
Yeah, I feel like with social media, it's all about instant gratification, and that's not always necessarily so. You need to be a little bit patient. So I had one viral video, we got 3.7 million views, and it actually didn't happen until 2 weeks after I posted it.
2 weeks?
And I don't know, it was a trending audio at the time when I posted it, and then 2 weeks later, I'm sure that audio was long gone, and then 2 weeks later, I was like, all these numbers were going up, and I was like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? And then we hit 3.7 million, which is also embarrassing because I'm like 3.7 million people are watching me do something.
Well, I think you better show a couple more people. I think we have to see it now.
I haven't had it happen again. Hopefully one day it'll happen again. But like I said, it's not all instant gratification. Like, be a little bit patient, stay true to yourself, and just keep pushing that content out.
Yeah.
So we're gonna watch this viral video. So the original video with the audio was kind of the same concept of like someone like, oh, I'm gonna throw this outfit down, this like whatever outfit, and then someone would sneak up and throw some other outfit that they wanted, either something funny or like a husband coming through.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, my content's about motherhood. Let's bring the little one in. And I mean, I thought it was cute. She did a great job.
She's a star.
Yeah.
So we were going to talk about some of the like content ideas or just some easy ways to like start putting together videos if you haven't done it before. So do you want to kind of talk through these and we'll show them as we go?
Mm-hmm. So the first one is product announcements. You can do a lot with that, whether that's static or short form video. So this first video is one of my favorite brands. They do a lot of video, so you can get an idea of kind of the more simplistic things that you can do with product announcement. So we'll watch that. So as you can see there, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Like they're just putting clips on a girl's hair.
Right.
So something as easy as that. I've noticed a lot of like that repetition movement does really well. So that's one idea that is possible. And then the next one, we'll watch first, and then I'll talk about it.
Okay.
So if I'm honest, I think I'll be getting a question how much I'm on this overloaded cereal, stressor, sitting nauseous. Getting caught a loop in my head, I'm chronically cautious. How can I get off this? To keep it simple, I think I've been willingly following every impulse. Picturing the future and tossing it out the window.
So that was a behind the scenes video, and I am starting to get into those myself. That was actually my first one, but I think that showing behind the scenes, whether that's like in stories or actually posting a video about behind the scenes, really like pulls people in and makes your content a little bit more personal. I think people, like whether you're, a company or your individual brand, I think that shows a lot of personality, and that things aren't, like people love seeing Instagram versus reality.
Right.
People love and can relate to the reality part, so I try to do that a lot. Because it's not all rainbows and butterflies in real
Right.
life, so I think people like seeing the nitty-gritty, the daily stuff that you do. I think that's a great one, just showing like, whether if you have a team, showing the people on your team, showing what you do every day is a great way to draw people into your brand.
Yeah, it's funny, you don't really think about it, but then, if you're watching content on your own like TikTok feed or whatever it is, like just stop and think about some of the things that you watch. I'm like watching somebody like figure out how to brush out their wig the right way, and I'm like, this has no on my life, but it's like fascinating.
Watching people bake and watching people make things.
Oh yeah.
Endless hours of watching like overhead shots of people doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's just the behind the scenes. I'm like, that's how they did it. I love it.
It is.
Yeah.
It draws us in. Okay, so we've got one more here. Do you want to do the video first?
I'll talk about it.
Okay.
So another great way to bring people, bring your audience to you is contests or giveaways. That's a surefire way of also building your audience. And you can keep it simple. We'll talk more when we talk more about partnerships, but either doing something, offering something of your own, or collaborating with someone else to offer something. But who doesn't love a giveaway?
Yeah.
So watch this video. This is one that I did with about 12 different brands featured.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this one might be a little bit long.
So if it's for the way you look at me, oh, it's for the only one I see. It's very, very extraordinary, even more than anyone that you adore can love. It's all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game. Two in love can make it. Take my heart, but please don't make it love. So
it doesn't have to be that elaborate, but I think both works, like static images or videos with giveaways. Both do capture the attention of the audience. So play around with it, see what works best for you. You know, your giveaway might pop up like on Explore page, and people might see that, so you never know. So play around with that.
I feel like that leads us in well to our next topic, which is partnerships. So you've had your own, you've had your own kind of small business, but you've also been an influencer. So how does that work? How do partnerships work for you? What tips do you have about people approaching you?
Oops. Oh, we went. So should we talk about?
We can, yeah. If we want to talk a little bit about this quick.
Okay, so we talked about this earlier, but some of the tools that I use. So these are some of the video tools that I use. So it depends on the person you talk to. A lot of people will say don't use your in-app editing tool, but I love doing it. I've heard of people having the app like crash on them. I've, knock on wood, never had that happen to me. So I'm gonna keep doing what like I'm comfortable with, and that's editing on Instagram or TikTok. And another one of my favorites is Video Leap. You can buy a lot with their free, and then you can also pay to get some updated features with all these apps. The second one, CapCut, a lot of people have mentioned the CapCut. I've seen it around. There's like CapCut challenges and stuff. I haven't used it yet, but maybe you guys may find it interesting. But like my philosophy always goes back to like use what you know, and I like editing in app. So.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I'm going to shout out Canva as well, because as marketers or social media people, we're using Canva all the time, and they have some really great templates and stuff for you to be able to create there too.
I create a lot with Canva. I make a lot of like birthday invitations, and people are like, that's so cute. And I'm like, cool, I didn't make it. So yeah, a lot of things on there.
Ooh, okay, and this is where we go back to kind of talking about your camera versus phone.
Yeah, so we'll play both videos and then see if you guys can tell the difference between the tools that I use. So.
Toute seule avec mon chien, tranquille dans mes pensées, sans masque limité, mais tout a basculé en cyclone enchanté. Quand j'ai connu la vie avec toi, mon amour, que c'est.
Okay,
And then here's the second one.
Stories like a melody in my head. I'll find keep our coffee singing like every day. It's like my iPod's stuck on replay.
Okay, I'm gonna like make you guys do some audience participation.
Okay.
Who thinks that the first one is professional camera? Hands up. Okay. Who thinks the second one is? Okay.
So the first one was a professional camera.
Okay.
So wow, that was like it was kind of like
it was
50-50
pretty split, yeah.
So as you can see, like you can use like your camera phone can do amazing things these days. I know there's actually a lot of like camera photographers or phone photographers out there, and I think that's amazing. So, I mean, don't be down on yourself if you're like, I need this expensive gear, and so on and so forth. Like. This just shows like use what you have. Get creative and
the barriers to entry on these are getting lower and lower every day. I feel like, but still being able to do really high quality stuff. Okay. Okay. So talking about partnerships, just tell us a little bit about how it's worked for you, and you have kind of like formal versus informal.
Yes. So there are like informal and formal type of partnerships. And as for me, as an influencer, content creator, I've had to learn along the way. And as maybe someone who like has their own company or brand, you're gonna also have to learn along the way. And it's very much trial and error, so don't get discouraged if things don't work out. I had a friend recently, she works for a brand, and they sent quite a lot of product out to different influencers, and then the influencers came back with nothing. And that's something, you know, you might run into. It's just trial and error and see what sticks. Yeah. So with a more formal partnership, it depends on the situation, but I tend to like these better because it does keep me, an influencer content creator, in check. Whether that's creating a contract and making sure they stick with it, and or giving a timeline. So whether you have a release of like an event or a product, having a timeline kind of keeps everybody in order. So those are the things that I do like about the formal. So the informal is, I would say it's a little bit, okay, so I would say like formal is more like styled type of content, right? Because usually if you're keeping up with like the FTC type stuff, you have to put ad on your content, and so your audience can see that that's like a branded deal.
Right.
And usually you'll tag the brand and stuff like that. So with more informal stuff, sometimes I prefer this because I can do whatever the heck I want to do, and I don't, you know, sometimes I like being able to have that free range. With formal, more formal partnerships, I've had to reshoot before.
Right.
And that is not the most fun, but you know, you have to make the brand happy. So with informal, if you are with someone that you trust, give them a little bit more free range. You never know what will come out of it. I think things move a little bit more organically that way, because the person can either, you know, whether, let's say that you have a venue, for example, like you can invite someone out and be like, you should make it organic, so, you know, your content creator will be like, oh, hey, like, I'm gonna go check out this place today, and that just seems a little bit more better than the alternative,
Right.
you know, for example.
Yeah, allows you to be a little bit more creative, I think.
Yes, yeah.
And then on the formal side, you're talking about like there are paid opportunities, sometimes it's a product trade, and then talk a little bit about like how the contracts work.
Yeah, so that really depends on your marketing budget, I've learned, and it is hard this year with today's economy. I know everybody's struggling a little bit, so I think I'm to the point in my social media career where like I have the opportunity to pick and choose what I want to do, and I'm not just taking every single offering in, which is great, but also not great.
Yeah.
So with paid stuff, I would 100% write a contract, whether that's something written out formal. I mean, you can find a lot of templates online, or like an email agreement, right. Just something that,
in writing.
Like, yes, keep the receipts, you know. And then if you're gonna do a payment with someone, I would pay out at the end, and to make sure that they deliver everything that you're asking for. And just be like, you almost want to spoon feed. I like being spoon-fed information because I don't want to have to guess and then have to rework everything because I wasn't given all the information. So.
Right, in terms of like the parameters of the video, or just like the certain content that they want you to highlight, I imagine.
Yeah, just lay out everything. And again, you can find templates online.
Yeah, and from like the marketing side, you know, like something like a discount code, I think is really smart because it does kind of hold it accountable. It's a little more trackable for you. I mean, obviously you can look at like how many views the videos got, but you can also see, you know, did this go all the way through to like an actual purchase as well?
Yeah. So I've been playing around with that too with brands. Usually you'll see like Klinger 15, and then people know that that's like your personal code.
Yeah.
But I've been playing around with the idea of just making more like generic codes. It's my personal code, but it'll be like, you know, Dream Bank. Friends or something like that, and then people won't think that it's like solely tied to me.
Right.
I feel like that kind of does a little bit better. But play around with that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. Okay, so talking about the vetting process, like thinking about you as an influencer, and then also, you know, your marketing team. Everybody has their own brand, and I think it's really important to like make sure that those align. So what's the vetting process like? What makes somebody a good partner?
Yeah, so a lot of with my like paid brand deals, I do go through an application process, and I get vetted out. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. I think that's a great way to kind of see if people will fit in with you, and I would make sure 100% that you find someone or people that line well with your mission and what you're about. You don't want to pick anyone off the streets. Really do your due diligence, because also that person will come through for you. And you want to see, like, just look at their content. You don't have to go through like a whole interview process. Maybe like if you really want to do your due diligence, like maybe have a couple, like 3 questions that you can ask them. Some easy ones are like, why do you see yourself, or how do you see yourself, like, with whatever specific, like if you have a product or with our brand, how you fit in. That would be a great way to gauge what the person, their motive is, you know?
Yeah, I think so too. So for you, like you're saying, it has to kind of align with your mission. And you said a simple email agreement is fine. You have on here, don't be afraid to slide into DMs.
Yes. So, I mean, what is that quote? Like, you miss every shot you don't take.
Yeah.
And I have to constantly remind myself of that like reaching out to brands, whether big or small, like you never know the opportunity that can arise from it. And the same goes for brands reaching out to influencers or content creators. Don't be afraid of it. Usually, I'm always like, when a brand reaches out to me, I'm like, oh, like, this is so cool. Like, either I don't expect it, or I'm like, oh, this is so awesome. Like I've either wanted to do something like this and didn't have the chance to. So you never know the relationship that can come from that. So yeah, don't be afraid. Like, be friendly and
be brave.
Yeah, be brave and reach out. A simple DM can go a long way. Like, I've had some major brand deals from just DMs. Yeah.
You also said about application, and I hadn't heard about that before. So do certain brands have like applications on their website or applications on their social channels? How does that work?
Yeah, so most like bigger brands, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, they have like affiliate programs, or you can apply to work with them. Also, a lot of agencies. You can apply through agencies. Like, I'm in a lot of listservs, so they'll send out brands, and then you can apply to work with them that way.
Oh, cool. That's great. Where did you find some of these listservs?
From other influencers. Like, this word gets around, and there's platforms popping up all the time for brand deals. But there's like only a few that I like, and I don't like trying new things. I like sticking to what I know.
So this is a little on topic, a little off topic, but can you talk a bit about like the paid aspect of social when it comes to video? Have you done much like boosting of content, and how has that worked for you?
So with my e-commerce, Sparkle Babes, I tried a lot when Facebook brought that, like kind of like the paid ads, and they did okay. I think it depends on. I like the fact that, I don't know if you guys have ever been on ads, but I like the fact that you can choose like your demographic, or like how much you want to spend, right? Because we never know how much we want to spend, if you have marketing budget or not.
Yeah.
So, my budget comes from myself, so it's not a lot. I recently tried one with a reel on Instagram to boost it, and it was also like connected with the brand, and it did okay. So just kind of try it out. Like, you're not going to lose anything from it. But it does, like, I've seen other brands do it, and it does like push their ads out to the main feed, like whatever you're looking at. Yeah, it's all trial and error.
Yeah,
I can't tell you.
Welcome to marketing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I also wanted to ask about, you and I had talked at another point about you collaborating with other influencers, or like doing collaborative posts. Can you talk about how you've done that in the past?
Yeah, so I've done that rather recently. And this would be great, like I said before, whether like you're a single person or a team, like working with another brand or company. That's a great way for both of you guys to get exposure, and obviously work with other people that you jive with and your mission's aligned. But for me, like working with other influencers, like there's influencers out there who are super competitive and would never do such a thing. But we're all here. There's room for everybody. We're all growing together, and I don't think it hurts you to work with somebody else and show the great things about both brands. So, yeah.
Yes, it's almost another form of like organic or informal partnership where you can both kind of benefit.
Yeah, you never know. Like your brand can reach their audience and vice versa. So I think that's beneficial. I don't see why it would hurt anyone. It's beneficial for both people.
Okay, so. On Instagram, on TikTok, any type of short form video, there is so much out there. What inspires you, and kind of what tips do you have for other people to get inspired?
So, I've had so much fun doing videos, and I won't stop doing them. Like, they're just so much fun for me. My content is motherhood, so it's easy to get inspired by my life because it's just so crazy. But a lot of my ideas aren't from being when I'm in it. A lot of my ideas come from either something that I've seen from somebody else, or oh yeah, this has happened to me in real life. Let's show everyone what this is really about, and kind of putting my own spin on it, or things that I've seen other people do and putting my own flavor on it. I like doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Getting inspired, if you go on the Explore page on TikTok or Instagram, you can get a lot of ideas from there. Don't be you're not copying. Well, don't copy people, but put your own flavor into it, how it fits you, and be genuine. A lot of my greatest ideas come from just putting my own self and flavor into things, and getting inspired from other people and things that I see in my day to day.
And your content's so funny. Sometimes it just feels like
I feel like
motherhood is all laughs, right? Okay, so I want to open it up now for you all. We're going to do a short Q&A. Sarah is coming around. She has a microphone. If you have any questions, you can just raise a hand and she'll bring it over to you.
I don't know if I need a mic, but I'm just wondering your feelings on captions on videos, when to do captions, or is it better just to go straight music?
Captions as in, if you're talking?
Yeah.
Not just the music, right? Well,
Right.
that'd be weird.
Captions
Okay.
for talking.
Yeah.
With music, or captions,
100% yes, and it depends what your content is. But I love doing that. If you look at my videos, a lot of my stuff if I'm talking in it, I love putting the captions because, I know there's people who are deaf, but also people like me who watch things late at night and don't want to wake up with their partner or their kids. You're going to read instead of listening to the audio. So I think that's a fantastic way of making people watch your video, because if you're talking and there's no captions, most people are going to skip over that. So I love that. You can put it in the corner of the video. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And then also captions in the text. I was doing a lot of I don't know what it's called, but it's different font that's not a regular font that you type out, to make things bold or
oh yeah,
if you know what I'm talking about. I actually had someone message me saying that not them, but they work with a lot of people who can't read that type of stuff.
Oh.
And so stop doing that. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. That that affects some people. So don't do all the fancy stuff. Do normal text.
Yeah, that's a good note. Mm-hmm. We got another question back there.
Yeah. It's me. Okay. This has been really great. Thank you. I'm just curious on things like hashtags. Are those helpful when you're putting videos out? Are those still important?
Yeah, so, lovely algorithm always changes. They say, don't go over 30 hashtags, don't go over 15 hashtags. Start putting, keywords into your stuff. I love hashtags. I also discovered on TikTok that hashtags do better. I was trialing a couple of my videos without hashtags and it flopped. So I deleted it and reposted it with a couple hashtags that was related to the video, and that, oh my gosh, that boosted it way up. So with hashtags, a secret tip is try to find hashtags that have a lower number of usage. So if you use a hashtag, I believe you can see when you start typing the hashtag, you can see 300K. Right. Try to find one with lower numbers. That way your stuff gets pushed up. Like I said, the same with the audios. Try to find things with lower numbers. That way you beat the algorithm and it gets bumped up. It's so funny.
Ones that are still on the way up, but maybe not quite peaked yet. Yeah. It's a good tip. Other questions?
We're going to take a question off the Facebook page.
Oh, great.
Oh.
All right, so Monica is asking any tips how to approach a brand you would love to work with, and is it recommended that you approach them or not?
Versus,
Sorry, I guess it's a two-part question. Okay, there's two parts to this, it looks like. Monica asked both. Do you, Tiffany, have an LLC or any type of formal business for the content creator aspect? And then she went on to ask, your tips in approaching.
okay, so we'll start with the brand first. Yes, I mean, like I said, absolutely approach brands, whether big or small. You never know what will come with it. You miss every shot you don't take. So approach the brand. It's a 50-50 of whether sometimes they'll just direct you to their person, email here, go apply here, and you
Right.
won't get a real person. Still do that anyways. Don't get discouraged. Like, you don't know what will come from that, so do that. And then the other half of the time, you'll get an actual person, and then you can kind of have the conversation and have the negotiations around how you want to work together.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, move on to the next one.
What's your opening line? You hit them with a hey?
So I used to have, I used to have a canned message that I would just send out. But now it just depends on my mood and depends on what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Usually it's like, hey, I love your brand, or I've seen your brand and I would love to work with you. Do you work with influencers?
Oh, that's
and then
great.
I just wait for their, it's simple as that.
Yeah.
You don't have to 500 word bio.
Right.
So they can see what you're about when they click on your page. So.
That's great.
And then the second question.
It's about if you have like an LLC or any sort of formal
Yes.
business for the work that you do.
So I had an LLC with my e-commerce, but I do not have an LLC now with my influencer type stuff. And I still have mixed feelings around it, but the most simple answer is no, you don't need one. If you pay your taxes, which I hopefully you do, that you can either file like a Schedule C with that, or build it in with your income. So I actually spoke with a friend of mine who's a lawyer, and he's like, you don't need an LLC. LLCs are made to protect you if someone were to sue you. So hopefully you're not doing anything sketchy to
So don't get sued.
to have that problem. So knock on wood, I've never had to deal with that. There are some benefits to having an LLC, maybe some tax benefits, but it just depends. But really the bottom line in an LLC is to just protect you. Maybe you grow so big that you do need some kind of that protection, and that would be great. But if you're just starting out, I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
And I've gotten by without one.
Great.
Yeah.
We had a couple more questions in the room.
Oh, hi. I'm interested. Is there anything that you see on social media that you're just like, no, don't do that? Is there anything that kind of makes you cringe, whether it's personal preference or how social media works, that just kind of you don't like?
I guess that's personal preference, right? But a lot of revealing yourself too much, whether that's physically or you're talking about too much, kind of turns me off. But I mean, sometimes it grabs attention. So my husband and I were just talking about this recently. We were like, bad publicity is publicity, right? So it just depends what kind of line you want to walk. I like to keep things pretty neutral and pretty playful, and that's who I've always been. So it just depends what you're about, what your brand is about.
And who your audience is too, right? I mean, yours is a lot of motherhood influencers.
Yes,
so revealing a lot does not fit that brand really.
No, I have kids and I'm showing my kids, so I don't want to get too far into that. And just for the sake of their privacy too, I try not to show them a lot. I try to show more of myself and me as a brand. So, but I've seen some cringy things. I don't know, sometimes I do well, sometimes I don't. Because, some of the cringy things you're like, look what this person did, and then you'll send it to their friends. So that could be a good thing depending on what it is.
Right. Probably depends a lot on your comfort level as the person on camera too, I would imagine. Other questions? Got one in the front.
Hey, sort of the other side of the coin from the question earlier. If you are a brand who's looking to partner with an influencer, what are things that you want to hear from the, and how does the brand go about approaching a new influencer, especially if we're a bit new to that?
So the brand is new or the influencer is new, or
both.
So this is actually a good question because just because an influencer has a lot of followers doesn't necessarily mean that their intentions or their content is the best, right? You can have an influencer with 1,000 followers and their content is amazing because they're starting up. I would not sleep on that. I've seen it myself, and to take the chance on that person is amazing. And that doesn't mean don't work with people like me who have a lot of followers.
I would say also from the marketing side, like do your research, you know, exactly like you were saying about you want your brands to align. You want to make sure that you can trust this person and let them kind of have some creative freedom in the process. So, you know, go in and like let them know that you know who they are a bit, you know?
I think a lot of influencers get discouraged because they're starting out and maybe they don't have a lot of followers, but that's not, if like people who know the game, that's not everything. It's about your content, what you're pushing out. For me as an influencer, like create a media kit. Also for a brand, like if you have something specific, that also shows that you're serious. If you have a media kit for a product or your brand, just to show what you're about. I actually do appreciate when brands do that, is setting like, here's a little media kit about our brand, what we're looking for, just so we don't have to ask any questions. Like we know, we both go in knowing like what this is gonna be about. And yeah, be kind, be nice. I like when like a real person reaches me and not just like shooting me off to an email or like, I like when people take the time to want to get to know you, and that way you can better negotiate what you want to do as well.
We're going to sprinkle in another Facebook question before we take more from the audience. So Annie is asking, do you ever find yourself in a rut when it comes to coming up with new content ideas? And if so, where do you find inspiration?
Yes, so that behind the scenes video in the caption was actually just talking about that, because it's a roller coaster, and there are lapses of months where I'm uninspired, or I don't want to do this, I want to quit, and I've been doing this for like 10 years going on now, so it's been a really long journey for me, and still to this day, there are plenty of times where I'm like, I don't want to do this, this is so much work, like could I be doing something else? But deep down inside, I enjoy doing this. This helps me get my creative juices out. And the best advice that I saw recently was to keep showing up for your audience. You know, whether that's like there's a lull in the amount of views that you have lately, keep showing up. And that I'm kind of in that phase right now of like keep pushing out content because it will pick back up. And you never know what will strike. You know, just show up for your audience. And with that advice, it was like, if you can't, or if you aren't inspired to push out content, stay in your stories. Show your everyday life. Show people, if you're an individual brand, even with a company. I had a brand that I was working with lately. They're struggling a little bit financially, but they're like, hey guys, we're going through this. Everybody loves like that community aspect, that realness aspect. Don't be afraid to show the raw sides of your brand. People can relate to that a lot. So just keep showing up, keep doing it.
Do you ever go back? I mean, you kind of know by looking at your views and your performance, like how things are going. Do you ever get inspired by things that you've done before and think, oh, I could do something similar, but maybe change it in this way?
That's a really good question. Not really. Like, I've seen a lot of people repurpose content, but for me, like, I love the opportunity to create new things. And just try new, I mean, there's so many trending things these days where it's like, you can just pick up anything, really. But yeah, I mean, that's not bad if you actually don't feel inspired by anything else. You can like recycle content. I did a lot of that with when I did like freelance work for other brands. Not like recycling the same thing, but just taking that concept and then putting a different item on it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. You got a question in the back as well. Go ahead.
Hi. Well, what strategy do you have for growing your followers?
Sorry, I can't.
Okay.
Oh, hi. Sorry, can you say that again?
What strategy do you have for growing your followers?
So, you know, the giveaways are a great thing. Engaging with either your audience or other accounts. I did that a lot when I had Barbell Babes. I just engaged on other people's accounts. That gets the attention of people. That's how I got new followers. Whether that's like, you're looking good today, like, that's a great video, some kind of comment where like either that person or other followers will see your account and then they'll be interested and want to click on your account. That's like a simple way. Using things like the hashtag and just kind of pushing your content through the algorithm.
Trying some paid options, you said as well.
Trying some paid options, yeah. But, you know, like we said, social media isn't the instant gratification. It does take time.
Yeah.
It's taken me how long to get to where I am. So slow and steady.
Hi, I'm curious if you've ever lended your platform or worked with nonprofits or causes that you care about. I work for a nonprofit and I'm kind of intrigued by this idea of finding someone and approaching someone, but I'm just curious what would be the right strategy for someone to do that with you if they couldn't pay or respectfully.
Yeah. I think you have to find the right person, like opportunities like this. You know, you'll find someone who will want to help out, who aligns with your mission. So I would say just, do your research and find the person or people that fit in best with you. I wouldn't shy away from reaching out to people because it's just like a brand, right? Especially there are brands out there who can't pay either, so nonprofit like would be the same as that. Like just continue reaching out and don't shy away from it. I think that's great if somebody wants to work with a nonprofit. And that's great for like influencers too, to show kind of that side, multifaceted side of them too.
And there could be opportunities to trade, you know, services or trade opportunities, or you may be able to offer something that's non-monetary, but still would be, you know, a value or at least show like kind of good faith.
This has been great. First, thank you for your time. But I was curious if you could speak on balancing your personal life with content creation, because I know that can become all-consuming sometimes. So if you could speak on that, that would be great. I guess this is kind of a two-part question. And could you speak on a posting schedule? Like, do you know if there's or have you found what works best for you for the number of posts you do? Because I've seen from like 4 TikToks a day to, 3 a week. So what have you found that works best for you?
Yeah, those are great questions. I'm so sorry, I already forgot the first question.
That's okay. It was just about managing kind of personal life.
Yes.
And managing, the time between content and personal life.
So my joke as a mom is neglecting my children, and it's also not a joke because if they're not involved in it, like I need to find a time when they're not around or if they're in good moods, if they need to be involved. But for people who don't have kids, finding the time, have grace for yourself, and also allocate some time that you can create content, whether that's during the day or like on the weekends. I don't really do anything at night because of lighting and situations like that, depending on what you're doing. But allocate some time, and don't beat yourself up if like you don't have the time. And also, Sorry, what was the second question?
Kind of the schedule of,
Yes.
you know,
Okay.
how often do you feel like you
Yeah.
want to post?
So when I worked for a startup and also when I did some freelance work, I kind of stuck with a schedule, and that helped me kind of visually see what I was doing. And I like to do things like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, push something out. As far as times, morning is always great. I like the 9 a.m., 10 a.m. time frame, so that if there's people in California, it's not like 3 a.m. for them, and they won't see it until much later. Or just think about when you're on your phone and looking through stuff. Also, you know, in the evening after dinner into the night is also a good time frame because people are on their phones winding down and looking at stuff. I personally like to post in the mornings just so I get it out of the way and I don't have to remember to do things later in the evening. But that's a great question, keeping on a schedule. There's a lot of apps for that also. There's Planoly is an app that people like to use to kind of, you can put your images in and see how your feed looks like. I believe you can post from there, you can put all your captions in. Again, I don't know if I would rely on that. Always have a backup. Always save your content. And then creating a schedule. And that also holds you accountable, right? If you stick to something, I think the sweet spot, with today's algorithm, they're post every single day. I don't do that myself. I don't find that necessary, but I am trying to work on getting more content out more frequently because I used to only post once a week. And that was great, but today with so much content coming out, you kind of have to keep up and keep your stuff on top of everybody else's. So if you're just starting out, try it. Try it on a schedule of posting once a week, and then work up to 3 times a week. The weekends I don't like to post as much because the weekends are my time to do stuff. If the weekends are all you have, utilize that time. Maybe create your content on the weekends, and then throughout the week, then you can post your content.
Yeah.
I think we'll wrap up with a question
Great.
from our Facebook page, but for those in person, feel free to connect with Tiffany after we formally wrap up today. But Tiffany, if you have time later today or tomorrow, we have a lot of questions on the Facebook page, so we invite you to check that out and answer those questions as you're available. So how important is it to engage with comments on your own content?
Oh, 100%. That's such a great question. Engagement is everything in the social world. I try to, after I post my content, the work I don't ever sleep. The work doesn't end after you push your content out. That's another great tip. So allocate some time, I would say 30 minutes to an hour of your time after you push your content out to kind of wait for the comments to flow in, respond to everyone. That also helps boost your post, is having comments. Share your post into the stories to kind of get people, if they're just watching stories, hey, we have new content out. Another great thing is people love getting hyped up. Even for this event, you can count down a couple weeks out, a week out, a couple days, and just hype up whatever you're doing, saying, we're coming out with this new product, we're going to this event, we're doing this, to just kind of get people drummed up for whatever you're doing. That's another great thing to kind of engage with people.
Yeah. Great. Well, I just want to thank everybody for coming out to our first in-person event in 3 years. We're so happy to be here. We're so happy, Tiffany, that you took time to be here today. Thanks to Dream Big. Thanks to our sponsors. We just appreciate you all. Have a good rest of your day.
I'm so honored to be that first person to come back. I hope you guys had a great time. Here's where you can reach me. I'll also be here for any other questions if you guys want to chat.
Thanks all.